Hello everyone! Today we're gonna take a look at the Gamevice Flex gamepad. This gamepad may be very similar to the Razer Kishi, but there are two features that sets it apart from that one. This gamepad has case adapters to allow you to use your phone with the phone case. And the first thing you'll notice in the box is this card that helps you select the appropriate adapters for your case. You'll also get 1 month of Game Pass Ultimate to start playing right out of the box. And here we'll take a look at the manual. You also get lots of case adapters nicely organized on these small boxes. Each box has different sizes of the left and right adapters. And in case you don't want to use your phone with a case, there's this silicone piece to protect your phone in the gamepad. Gamevice Flex looks like an exact copy of the Razer Kishi, with the main difference being the buttons and the Dpad. But unlike the Kishi, the Gamevice Flex features a headphone jack, along with a USB Type-C charging port. All of the face buttons uses rubber membranes, with the exception of the Xbox button, L1 and R1. And the shoulder buttons are very nice, you can easily press them at any point. The triggers are analog triggers. And the D-pad has a pivot that won't allow you to press all the directions at once. However, if you put enough force on the D-pad, it can sink under the shell, which can be a bit annoying when you're playing. But the other buttons won't sink that much, it's just a D-pad. The analog sticks feels good and they are clickable in the center. To open the gamepad, you must pull these two tabs. And when closing it, you just need to press the centerpiece. And the tabs are pretty easy to open. The controller can stretch quite a lot. And here you can see that the flex cable that connects the two parts runs inside this rubber piece. And the USB Type-C plug is rigid and not flexible at all. You can connect the phone without applying any adapters and it will work. However, it's not perfect, it will have a lot of flex. So before using, I advise you to decide how you're gonna use it and install the correct adapters. We'll start with the silicone adapters to use your phone without a case. And now you can see that the flex is much less perceptible. But I really like to keep my phone on the case, so let's see how the adapters work. You must pick your phone and try to insert it on these holes on the card. When it fits, you have the correct numbers of the adapters you should use. For my phone, we're gonna use the left 25, and the right 15A or B. The difference between A and B adapters is that the B version curves around the connector. In my case, the B version will fit better. The adapters will be firmly secured in place. It's really hard to remove them. But in case you're having trouble, do you see that hole there? You can grab a clip and pry it out. And here's the result with the case adapters. There's still a little bit of flex, but that won't interfere with your gameplay at all. Moving to the gamepad tester, I'm a bit sad to report, but this gamepad has dead zones in the axis. It's not something that makes it impossible to use, but it greatly impairs accuracy in games. But the Razer Kishi also have that problem, so I guess they're even. The analog triggers works well though. And here's the Dpad test. As you can see, you cannot press all the directions when you press it in the center, and the diagonals are easy to access. The Gamevice Flex has an app called Gamevice Live. This app acts as a launcher for your Xbox Cloud games, GeForce Now, or native Android games. And as you can see, the firmware is on the latest version.
Use your magnet on the enemies to close in on them.
The Xbox button works correctly, and the headphone jack is awesome. The charging port also works correctly. And on the lag test, it is on par with the Gamevice X2 Pro. For mapping the controls to the touchscreen, you will have to use a third-party mapper. And it works as expected. Another cool thing is that if your cameras are on the side, the case won't block them. The gamepad can be used as a camera rig to get a stable shot. And I found this design flaw that when playing, the R1 button will get stuck. When I press on the phone side, the button gets released. This happens because when the phone is inserted, it makes pressure on one side of the shell, causing the other side to get more tight. And that gets the button stuck. But there's a really simple fix for that. With a screwdriver, you just have to release these two screws a little bit. That will create more space inside the shell to move around when the phone is inserted. And as you can see now, the button won't get stuck anymore. If I press really hard, I still can get it stuck, but it won't happen during gameplay. Moving to the teardown, you can remove the 4 screws on each side and unclip the shells. And here you can see that the triggers has Hall effect sensors. And you can also see that the flex cable is well protected. Here you can see the rubber membranes. And you have potentiometer based sticks of the Alps brand. Here's the switches of the shoulder buttons. And here you can see that it is this side of the shell that gets the button stuck. On the other side, the construction is identical, with the exception of the Xbox button switch and the headphone jack. Moving to my final thoughts, I really like the Gamevice Flex. I never used the GameSir X2 Pro on the go, because as it requires you to remove the case of your phone, it opens a lot of room for accidents. And you know how modern phones can't survive getting dropped. So I'd rather use it indoors. But with the Gamevice Flex, you won't have that issue. It is very easy to pop your phone with the case and play whatever you want. It is its biggest feature and selling point. The headphone jack is another great addition, as if you are outside, there will be a lot of noise that can be distracting. However, the dead zones in the analog sticks really breaks my heart. It is a simple problem that is highly annoying for us gamers. And the fix is very simple, as the controller is firmware upgradable, but only Gamevice can fix it. If it wasn't for this, I would say that the Gamevice Flex is the best controller for smartphones, completely dethroning the GameSir X2 Pro. But with that problem, I have to give it the second place. GameSir fixed this issue on their gamepad, so let's hope that Gamevice does the same. And if they do it, the Gamevice Flex will be the number one. And that's it for today. If you liked this review, consider subscribing to the channel, leaving a comment or a like. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.